My name is Atreyu, a student of Makerere University, and I'm interviewing Madame Pope about proverbs and stories in oral tradition. And here comes my first question. When and where were stories told in oral tradition?
Yes, thank you for the question. My name is Paul Kapad. Those stories were told to us when we were still very young, from around the age of 4. We grew up to actually even the O level. We are still being told about these stories and folks. So we started from the childhood, and they were told to us one by one, not entirely, or like so many at once, but they were one by one, even according to the age, each one of them.
So what type of stories?
We were told the stories that would be concerning our behaviors, that would make us compassionate and empathetic. For example, they would tell us about the stories about children who were staying with their stepmoms and how their stepmoms would torture them. And then we would actually cry at the end of the story. You have cried so many tears because you are imagining how this child is suffering, how the child is not being given food, and you grow when you know that torturing someone is something very bad before people and before God. And also to be considerate to others, like, you learn that stabbing someone is very bad. Other kinds of stories were about behaviors for the children. Like, you'd be told about, like, Nyantahulira, like about the child who would go with the mother. They are going somewhere very far. Maybe they are going to the garden, but before they reach the garden, the child maybe climbs other people's mangoes, and after eating them, maybe they tell you, then the mango grew from inside the stomach of a child. And you imagine, so picking somebody's mango and is something bad that you shouldn't do without asking. Such a story is really, yeah.
So can you give a proverb and explain its meaning?
Yeah, we were also, apart from stories, we were also told about proverbs. But of course, these proverbs will come in Chiga. For example, because for this we are the younger people, as children, sometimes we would misbehave. They tell you something and you say, I can't do it. They tell you something and you disturb your mother or your elder sister or your brother, or the kinds of misbehavior that you see children doing. So meaning that if actually they tell you something and you don't do it, you will find trouble in the short run. This letter means like this saying which goes like pride goes before destruction. When you are told to stop something and you don't heed, within a short time you find problems. So when they tell you that, and like in a short time when they have told you and something happens to you, they would say, didn't I tell you? They would say, Oyendo Mushambu Agwenjera, which means when you want trouble, then you should be ready to invest in that, in that case. Or when you want a case, then you are ready to go to court, you are ready to pay a lot, pay the lawyer, meaning that you don't be quick in making decisions, or you don't be too angry, you don't react or overreact. So you go slowly in whatever you are doing, knowing that everything you do has a consequence or has a result, whether bad or good. But negative, that would refer to negative sins. The other proverb would be like, want manyanjire nenkola yenji. As children, sometimes they will send you somewhere and you actually don't feel like going. You feel like misbehaving. And you know, when you reach there, when they have sent you, when you are not very willing to go, actually you don't do the best work. So, meaning that before actually you send someone, let that person be willing to go, so that even the quality of work he or she is going to do will come out very well. Hmm?
So who told you these stories?
We learned them from very many, because those days our families used to be full. We had dependents, we had our grandmother, we had our parents, so we were living as really a big family, and every evening we would come together, and there were so many stories. Then Proverbs would come even every day as you execute your daily activities and so on.
So how do these proverbs help young people today?
Yeah, today actually we have ceased to tell our children so much, but today I feel we miss them. However, like Proverbs, we continue telling them, although some of the things are kind of being wiped away, but they help them to streamline them in their behaviors, so that they can also uh, imagine about the future things, or imagine about the things that terrorize others. If they put their feet within the same shoes, how would they feel? So it entirely means, rather helps them to behave well, to be obedient, to be disciplined, to be considerate, and empathetic to others.
So what lessons did you learn from these stories and proverbs?
Um, a proverb like "Borangora and Worujeni" helped me so much, because my story of education actually came step by step. I did not study in a strict way process. For example, I studied up to O level. I first got married. Then I went to study group certificates, UNEB certificates. After group 3, I did mature. Afterwards, I went for a degree. So, Bora and very gentle. Each step starts with each journey starts with one step. And although you have not managed to be educated, like to follow the normal procedure of education, you can still be educated. So it applies to other things. Even when you are doing a business, you may start with little money, whereas other people who are well off can start with a lot of money. But when you have little money, you can still start, and it is also capital. You can start by saving that money little by little, or that proverb can also help you in saving. You know that even a person who saves 1,000 may end up being rich, such as that one who saves 100,000 or 10 million. So as long as all of you are following a principle and are consistent and patient in what you are doing. And this also helps young people today. Like some people, when they look at businessmen or the well-to-do people, they may think that they started at that level. They forget to know that they also started one by one. So it is good that even we teach it we continue to teach it to the young ones, so that they are able to know that they will build themselves little by little, not just by starting from what they can actually afford, which may lead them into doing wrong things.
So, in conclusion, which advice do you give to people about proverbs and stories in oral tradition? How they can apply in this generation? Which advice can you give to parents like teachers about those proverbs and stories?
For teachers and parents, especially young parents, they should start telling their children stories, riddles. When they are still young, you start with short ones which can be comprehended by a child of that age. As they grow, you also increase so that they can get the meaning. For example, when we were very young, they would tell us when you sit on the amahega, what is amahega? These stones, cooking stones, that you will not get married.
Yes.
But basically they meant that you do not fall into fire and get burned. So you start with small ones like that. When they grow old, you discourage them like from eating within the saucepan. You tell them when you eat in the saucepan, your stomach will be big and you will not be figureful. So I advise them actually to tell the children, to teach them these riddles, the stories, and actually interpret them little by little so that they will be able also to tell these stories, to tell the parents and maybe the teachers the stories they know and how they understand them and actually how they can do it.
Thank you very much, Madam, for telling us about stories, proverbs, and how their stories are important. Thank you very much.
You're